Hello and welcome back, guys. In this video I will show you how you can take a piece or select a piece of design that you're currently working on and manipulate it. Now pay close attention, as this is a very important part of Photoshop. Selections simply means that you're defining the area you want to edit, like you want to resize it, reshape it, add color to it, effects to it, move, etc., and so on. So I already have a picture that is most commonly used in these tutorials over here, and let's start by selecting all of it. Now if you want to select this whole picture, all you need to do is go up to the select and click on all, and it will, you will see these lines that will form, and this means that it has selected the whole area over here. Now you can just simply go to the move tool and you can move the entire project as you want it. Now once you're done moving, you know, you can adjust it. Now I'm gonna Control Z and undo this. Then I'm gonna go up over here and deselect it again. Also, you can do Control D and it will deselect the selection you have made. Now over here, this is all you need to know about the selection, and also there is also reselect, and if you click on reselect, it will reselect the area that you pressed undo on. Now moving along over here, we will start with the elliptical, well, actually with the marquee tool. If you hold down the arrow, you will see that there are many different kinds of marquee tool. We will start with the rectangle marquee tool. What the marquee tool allows us to do is that it allows us to make selections. So when you hold down and you move around, it will define the area that you want to select, and then once you leave it, the selection has been made. uh, you can go back to the move tool, and then you can move this piece of wood, for example, around. Now for example, if you wanted, well, actually first I'm gonna undo it and then Control D to unselect it. I'm gonna go back to the marquee tool, and for example, let's say you selected this area of this laptop, but what but instead of moving this laptop, what you want is that this laptop stays exactly the way it is and everything else moves. All you need to do is go to select and click on inverse. Now what this does is, it might look like both of them are selected, but what it is actually doing is all of this has been selected, and this is like kind of like a marking that this thing will stay in its place. So if I go to move tool, now move, you see the laptop actually stays in its place. Everything else is moving. Anyways, Control Z to undo and Control D to deselect. We'll move right along to the next one, the elliptical marquee tool. Click on it, you can see it helps us make this like circle kind of designs. Mostly it's used to select circles, but the problem with this is that it doesn't, if you're trying to make a perfect circle, it's really hard to do that. So what you can do is that, wait, first of all, Control D, deselect. You can make the same circle, but you can hold down Shift, and it will, enforce it much better into making a circle. But now you see that my cursor is way far away from the circle itself to enlarge it. But my arrow, my cursor is way far from the circle. If you want, wait, Control D. If you want, the circle to start exactly from where you have, put the arrow, your arrow, all you need to do is press and hold down Alt. So if I hold Alt key and then open it, you see now the circle, it starts from where we selected the, where we pointed the cursor first, and it's much better. And to get the almost perfect circle, you can hold both the Shift and the Alt at the same time, and it will provide with a much better circle. So for example, Control D to deselect that, and let's try to control this, manipulate this circle of Canon. So I'm gonna go to where I think the center is over here. I'm gonna hold Shift, Alt, press, and try to get the circle. Okay. So this is pretty good. I mean, I'm trying to get through the video a bit faster. So yeah, I'm missing a few stuff, but this is pretty good. Now, instead of just moving this, maybe you wanted to make a copy of this. After a selection is made, all you need to do is Control C and it will copy the thing. And then you need to do Control V and it will paste it. Now it doesn't look like much because I just copied and pasted it on the same place, but if I go to the Move tool and I move it, you see I have made a copy. I, now you can make multiple copies of such a stuff or whatever you want. Now once this is done, I'm gonna Control Z and Control Z and Control Z. Okay, undo all of this. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. This is Lasso Tool. What Lasso Tool allows us to do is make free form selections. I think that's what they're called. Basically, is just freestyling. If you hold down this, there will be many different kinds of lasso tools. So if we take the regular lasso tool, like I said, you can just I don't know, let's start with the if it were the notebook, I can just start drawing by myself, and let's say once you're done drawing with the lasso tool, what it will do is it will connect your end point with your starting point. So you see I haven't connected them, but if I leave over here, it will just connect this. So you see this, it has made a free form selection, whatever. This is very difficult to use actually for users most of the time, because like I said, it's free form, so your hand must be really steady. Okay, Control Z to undo that. Now the next one over here in Lasso Tool is the polygonal Lasso Tool. What it does is it helps us make selections based on points and hard lines. Connect to this point and then connect to, let's say, this point, then this point, and that's it, all the way to here. And you double click it and it's done. So this is really good to use when you have hard edges, like somewhat like this laptop over here. Control Z to undo this. Again, all of these can be moved around by using the Move tool. The last one is magnetic lasso tool. We are not going to get into this too much right now. What it basically does is it makes selections based on pixels, like the difference in pixels. So as I go along over here, you see it's just automatically finding the difference in pixels between the white laptop and this the wooden background, and it has made a pretty decent selection. Now I can go on the Move tool and move this around. Anyways, this is what it does. We're gonna get into detail about the magnetic lasso tool in the coming sections. After the lasso tool, we have quick selection tool. When you click down on it, you'll find out that there is quick selection tool and magic wand. Now these two are the most commonly used tools to make selections, and they're very efficient, they're very great. So let's get into them. Oh, sorry, no, not crop tool, over here. So most of the time you will be using quick selection tool. What it does is it selects the area very fast based on contrast differences as well. So it works really well if like white on blue, I mean sorry, brown, black on brown, blue on brown, like the difference in contrast is very clear. So for example, if I had to select this keyboard, I can just start at this edge. Oh, well, accidentally we have selected the area we didn't want it, and I will get into that later. So right now we're just going to continue. We have to be a bit careful. You see it's making all the selections by itself, and it's making them very fast. So you just need to keep your hand a bit steady, and Continue with this, and it will make all the selections for you. Now, whatever parts it has missed, you can just go over them, and it will also select those, the buttons that we forgot. Okay, now if you see carefully, what it is doing over here is the sign is plus. That means we are still in adding mode. So for example, if I wanted to select this keyboard and this mouse, I can again go over here and click, and in just one click, it has, captured the whole mouse. But if you wanted to deselect the options, all you need to do is press Alt key. I think it's Options key on Mac, and if you hold it, it will become to minus. That means it will deselect. So if I can go over here and I can deselect all these areas that we do not want all the way till here, and then I can add them again according to the way I want the selection to be made, and it's done. Now I have selected both of these things, so if I go to Move Tool, I can move both of them. Anyways, Control Z to undo, or I can just Control D to deselect all of it. Now the second one over here is the Magic Wand tool. This one also makes selections based on pixel tolerance. Tolerance is over here. It can be adjusted. So, for example, if I click over here once, in just one click, it has selected the whole laptop, because the pixel differentiation between white and the brown is very high. But sometimes Magic Wand tool is really difficult to use. Well, not really difficult, but a bit more trickier to use on objects such as this one, because it has blue and then it has other shades of blue on top of it. So I'm going to do Control D to deselect this. If I click over here, you see it has made this selection, but it hasn't added all of these ones, because it can differentiate between this. So basically, I'm gonna zoom in first of all, and I'm gonna hold a space to get the hand tool, you know. Then I can go over here, and the same way I did before, with Shift you can add, and with Alt you can deselect. So I'm gonna hold Shift, and I'm gonna select each and every one of them so that they're added. But as you do this, you will see that maybe some of the pixels are getting missed. It's not easy to get all of them in using just the Magic Wand tool, and it becomes particularly hard when you're using this tool on objects that have like shadows and stuff. Okay, but either ways, I have selected it for now. Now, you can do this much more easily if, for example, Control D, deselect. If you increase the tolerance and you make it something like 80, and after the tolerance is 80, if I click on this, it has made the selection. But the only problem is now it might, because the tolerance is so high, it might not be seeing the difference between this blue and this brown. Like, it might think that some of the pixel quality is almost the same. I'm gonna Control D and deselect this. And the same thing goes with these black markers. If I'm trying to select them, it will select this. Again, like I said, with the tolerance, you will need to adjust this a lot, and so on and so forth. Anyways, now this is it for this video. These are some of the very basic tools that are used every day in Photoshop. So go ahead, pull up some pictures that you guys have. You can either find something similar to this, or you can have the pictures that you already wanted to edit. You can open them. Try to play around the tools that we used or we went through by fairly quickly in this video to get, so that you can understand the basics of Photoshop. And yeah, and in the next video we will get into more detailed stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like our content, as it's an ongoing course, so you guys don't, miss any videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.